Welcome to the Better Business Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Zelan. Join me week after week as I interview high-level entrepreneurs on their journey to success, both in business and personal development. Each week presents new stories to learn from and new ideas on how to run a better business. Stay updated with all the guests we'll have by subscribing to this podcast. Welcome to another episode of Better Business with Austin Zelan. I'm super excited to have Mrs. Ekta Saini with us here today. Thank you so much for joining me. And she's running Shri Investments as well as Miss World America. And I'm super excited to hear a little bit more about her journey, how she got there, and how she's been able to grow the business side of things in her life. So thank you so much for joining me. Can you just give our audience a little bit of a story of how you got started and what you're doing and the journey that you took to get there?
Thank you, Austin, for having me here. Shri Investments, Shri Holdings, Shri Group, those companies I own with my husband. So my husband needs more grace and more credit for that. Miss World America, I'm running alone with his support. I give a lot of thanks to my upbringing because without education, the privilege of education, I would not be here. But besides having the college education, I started my mom was a professor and my dad was in curtain and textile and hosiery business. And there was a lot of emphasis on getting education. And she would have us get tutored during summer, not take any summers off. At that time, it was quite rigorous and I felt I never had a childhood. I was enrolled in Masters in English Literature at age 15, and I achieved my Masters at age 17. But I had love for learning, so I continued reading books and continued upgrading my education and learning because at that time there were no computers. So I enrolled in computer courses. I enrolled in more like Dale Carnegie. I loved that, Dale Carnegie leadership training. And I'm a reader, so that helps because there is so much to learn, so much wisdom nowadays that's readily accessible through phone, Instagram, YouTube, Google. But at that time, 30 years ago, when I was in college, it was only dependency on books, books and library. And now we live in such a magical world that everything we want to learn, there are so many different ways to learn it. That was upbringing. And then both of us, my husband and I, grew up in business families. We didn't see, even though my mom was a professor, she had 2 masters. She had MEd too, so I only have 1 master's. My mom was also more business oriented and she would help my dad in his business. My husband's family owned car dealerships, several car dealerships, and they were number 1 car dealership in all over India with highest number of cars sold.
Wow.
That caused us to visit US. It was one of the award that we received from the Suzuki dealerships because we sold the maximum number of cars. And when we came here for a 15 days vacation 30 years ago, it was my husband fell in love with States and he wanted to move here. Then the struggle was how to come up with down payment because he was still wanting to move here. I never wanted to move here. So our family was not on board supporting him here. I wasn't on board moving here. So it was borrowing money from bank was difficult. We didn't have any credit. Nobody in India 30 years ago even knew what the word credit meant. So, and then there was no YouTube, no Google. So I would read Susie Orman. Do you know Susie Orman books?
No.
Before your time. So she was a financial advisor like Dave Ramsey or like now Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
So I would read her books and educate myself because it was also not coming from growth mindset. So I would hesitate asking questions that I don't want to be seen as someone stupid or, oh, she doesn't know that. After I learned about growth mindset, that hesitation and shame has gone.
Mhm.
and I embrace failure. But before that, oh, I'm never going to ask this. I'll
Yeah.
just going to try to find the answer myself.
Hmm. Okay, so basically, you feel like your education played a huge role in this whole process. And how did you come to own the different organizations that you have now?
Pageantry, my active involvement in pageantry started when Shri signed up to be a pageant contestant.
Hmm.
Before that, as a business owner, I would sponsor and support or volunteer. I started that in 2008 in Moses Lake.
Hmm.
The headquarters of Mrs. Washington, Maine Mrs. Washington, is in Moses Lake. It's a small town, but the headquarters are in Moses Lake. My friend Pamela Colonel, who we lost sadly last year to cancer, she owned Mrs. Washington, and I would start helping her as a backstage helper or sponsor or give Subway sandwiches to her contestants. And we had built a very beautiful studio for Shri, her practices, because she is a heart patient. So when she got her surgery, she was removed from all contact sports. She was not allowed to have dance partners. So she was only allowed to have solo dance performances. So we built a studio. So that studio I would give to Pamela and her queens so they could use it anytime they wanted to. That's when my love for pageantry began, because I would see girls coming hesitant and fearful, and then they are forced on stage. They need to work on their fitness, they need to work on communication skills, they need to work on public speaking, they need to know what's happening in the world. So when I saw the growth, and I saw the same growth in my daughter, because the way we were so hesitant to have her start,
Hmm.
so that growth journey caused me to fall in love with pageantry. And then now I am the national director of Miss World America.
Okay, awesome. And how about the other investment side of the business?
That my husband's one of his friends was selling his business, and my husband, coming from business family, did his numbers, and his friend was in 1031 exchange. Are you familiar about that
Hmm.
term? And so my husband kind of fell into that okay, my friend is in this pressure of selling the business. I
Yeah.
was hesitant, but when he did his numbers, we came up with solution, and we borrowed money from the friend who was selling, and we told him we will pay him in 2 years, but we ended up paying him because, as a person, even though borrowing money helps us,
Yeah.
I just have real aversion towards borrowing money, even though sometimes we end up, money costs used to cost much cheaper
Yeah.
at that time, not these days. But I would always feel anxious that, oh, we owe him money. So I would make 4 times more payments so that
For the
I
business.
could I could pay him back in 6 months and not 2 years, not have to wait for the term of the agreement that we need to pay you back in 2 years. So we'll take our sweet time and we'll enjoy. I just wanted to do that. So that
Hmm.
business helped us grow, and then one after another and after another.
Okay, so your family moved here, and then your friend was selling their business. You bought the business, and you were paying back the friend. And were you just using like business finances from that, like the profits from the business, or you had other business paying for it?
No, that first business's profits to pay back the friend.
And what was that business?
That was a gas station.
Oh, cool.
That was a gas station and a convenience store.
Hmm.
And I think Shri was 8 years old at that time when I first named the company Shri Investments.
Cool.
And then later on, all the companies after: Shri Travel Plaza, Shri Holdings, Shri Saini LLC, Shri Truck Stop, Shri, uh, everything Shri.
Yeah,
All the companies are Shri.
definitely. And so, how many gas station locations do you have now?
We have truck stops, multiple truck stops, gas stations, subways, rental properties,
Yeah.
and some other investments.
Yeah. Cool. That's
And
awesome.
we are the number one in diesel sales in all of Washington.
Oh, wow. Is that because of the truck stops?
That's because of the value we provide to value and convenient locations. Our locations are very convenient, easy in, easy out, because large truckers, they want convenience of getting in easy, getting out easy, and usually they buy 500 to $800 worth of diesel at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And when they fill at our locations, they are saving at least $100 in one fill. So it's not that, oh, you rack up points, oh, this is the loyalty card, or this is the redeem this coupon after 10 trips. We don't
Yeah.
do those things. It's simple convenience that, okay, across from us or a mile from us is 60 cents more than us, or sometimes there is a dollar difference. So when the trucker does that instant saving,
Mm-hmm.
he is drawn to save money because it's the same high quality gas and diesel that we buy from same federally approved refineries and racks.
Yeah.
So there are 10, 15, 20 loads we are buying every day for different locations.
Yeah.
There is constant in and out of gas and diesel. So when some people may say that, oh, this gas may be much cheaper because it's not good quality,
Mm-hmm.
that's a myth.
Okay, so it's the same quality gas. You're just able to provide such or much lower prices. So how are you able to do that? Like, how does that economically work out for you?
It's, I think, numbers game. It's higher numbers and lower margins, but that ends up being profitable
Mm-hmm.
rather than selling like half a load or one load a week and then having bigger margins.
Yeah.
It's, and then the truckers and other like car owners, they
Yeah.
also come and eat at subways, and then they buy some other things from the store. So that ends up being beneficial for them and beneficial for us.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's cool. So would you say you sell more just regular gasoline or diesel?
Equal.
Equal?
Equal. Yes, because when when you understand that if as a car owner I'm saving $20 by going to Shree's, why would I want to go to some other place when I'm saving $20 enough for my lunch and my snacks and my water bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Then why would I just go across the street or go to a higher, uh, more expensive gasoline station?
Yeah, definitely. So as you were growing this chain of gas stations and convenience stores and all your other things, like what would you say was one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome as you were growing your Shri empire?
There were different kinds of challenges at different stages. Like in early 2000, when we came here, didn't know anything about the country. That was learning the ways of the country,
Mm-hmm.
learning about credit building, learning the different accent. Even though uh, Shri keeps telling me that she doesn't hear my accent, but when I hear myself in a recorded version, I sound very differently to me. And it was difficult to understand people, even though I held a master's in English literature. My English was British English, and English here is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So, different challenges at different times, or sometimes our locations would be so far from our home. So, it's driving 40 miles one day, going to the store, and then rushing back to pick kids from school, or getting stuck in the traffic. Those were challenges of being a mom and a business owner. But my husband would have a someone who would see our location very busy. Someone would come and start a business, similar business, right across from us, try to get our business from us, and different challenges at different stages of life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what's like the next step for you? Are you continuing expanding to new locations or are you kind of okay with what you have now?
Uh, my husband gets his kick high from getting more locations, and I support him in that. And I acquired that wisdom like not more than 2 years ago, because I would say we have enough and we should now relax and not be so uh, tied up in getting more and more locations because we have never relaxed or ever gone on a vacation. So let's make different choices. But I see that he gets his adrenaline rush from creating more businesses, creating more jobs, and having more cities around, and paying bigger number in taxes. So that makes him feel good about himself that I'm contributing this way, I'm providing. So hundreds of people are employed at different cities.
Hmm.
So I don't resent that. But for Miss World America, I'm starting it from scratch. This year I got my license July 1st. So this is my uninterrupted license. Last year it was, they just wanted to see how I would do. So last year was their trial, me as a trial national director.
Hmm.
So now it's Miss World America, even though Miss World is the largest and the oldest pageant. If you just Google top pageant in the world, you don't have to write Miss World. Google itself will bring Miss World as a result because it was the first pageant 72 years ago. So, but here in America, it's not as known as it's known in Vietnam or Philippines, where 20,000 people attend Miss World Vietnam, or in India, Miss World India is a $5 million production. So it's very well known in different countries. But
Hmm.
in America, I'm starting it from scratch. So I have different challenges now, bringing awareness about this being the Miss World brand.
Hmm.
So creating my national team is a big challenge for me to have qualified people help me.
Yeah, definitely. And so with the Miss World organization, are you seeing that business, like you've obviously started it because you're passionate about it, your daughter's involved in it. So as you've continued working in that space, did you find that it benefits your other businesses as well?
No, it has nothing to do with other businesses because I'm barely 3 months old in this business.
Okay,
I
so it's
have
a
to be,
totally separate
no,
thing you're
it's
just doing
totally,
just
yeah.
because you're passionate about it.
Yes, it has to be only passion, and I would say radical passion, not just passion, like passion that even I can't explain. Because if I do it as business, my cost is 20 times more than what I'm charging every delegate. I'm paying for them to come and compete. If I just put in my license fee and the cost of having a national event,
Hmm.
I pay 20 times more than what how much I'm barely charging only $1,000 from a girl, and we are giving them coaching sessions from world's top coaches like Lou Sierra, Jimmy Langhoff, Liz Fuller. These coaches are world number one coaches. So
Yeah.
all of our delegates are getting free Zoom trainings multiple times a week, Dr. Kennedy. And and then when they come to national pageant, all of their food is taken care of, all of their training, their we give them. Last year I gave each girl $782 worth of gift bags. And I don't want to say about my license fee, but it's way over $1 million. I cannot say how much over $1 million.
Hmm.
So if I use want to run it as a business, then I would be charging each delegate $10,000 fee. So
Hmm.
I'm putting in a lot of my time, a lot of my money to create the foundation for this.
That's awesome. So you mentioned you're employing hundreds of people around all your different companies. So obviously you have some sort of strategy to attract this talent, to keep this talent working for you. Can you share some of those strategies with us?
What I remember from the drastic things that I have done to disrupt was, I think in 2008 or 2007, Washington minimum wage was eight something, $8, 2 cents, or it was almost $8.
Hmm.
At that time, I moved all of my staff to $11. So I wanted to pay them $3 each staff, each hour more than what the government was asking me to pay. And after that, we have provided housing to young staff like immigrants who don't have housing facilities or who can't afford to pay $800 a month for a room. Or so we provide a lot of our staff who struggles to pay for rent. We pay for their utilities and rent, and we give them a lot of hours so they can work and earn a decent wages, and we take care of their food. Most of them have, and our houses are not like rundown homes or this or that, very clean, brand new, good quality homes that I would want my son or my daughter to live. So treating my staff as my own family or my own children, and not policing them. Like, I don't micromanage, my husband doesn't micromanage, because we grew up in business families. So we ask questions rather than giving orders. And then we learn a lot from them, because everyone has so much wisdom. Even if they are half our age or our kids' age, they have a lot of wisdom that enriches our lives.
Hmm. So, what role does culture play in all of this? How have you developed a company culture, and how have you used that to grow what you have?
It's not as complicated as people make it about culture. It's treating people the way you want to be treated. It's simple like that. If you want to be respected by your employer, so as an employer, you need to truly, authentically respect, not superficial niceties and then saying bad thing about employee to another employee. It's like having the character that, if even if I have never fired in last 20 years, I have never ever fired anyone. Even if I see someone, catch someone uh, stealing, I have a conversation with them. I just go to their level, what made them steal, or how can I help you, or how can I mentor that person. Or maybe we have been fortunate to not have trouble with employees. I never had any of my employees sue me or report me to LNI, or any of those bad things happen to me, because I have authentic respect and authentic relationships. I tell them that please don't expect me to be a mind reader, because I don't expect you to be my mind reader. Don't make assumptions. Let's have sincere conversations. When you have that faith that we can have sincere conversations, we are intelligent beings and we can resolve whatever the problem is, then the other person feels secure. They don't feel that, oh, I need to win her, or I need to see what she says behind my back. That trust is there, the mutual respect is there. And then you pay them, because I know how much things cost and how many bills I pay. I pay more than 100 bills every month,
Hmm.
including all the businesses. Even though there are so many bills who are paid automatically, I still pay easily more than 100 bills. So I know that if things cost, and why should I have my employees constantly anxious about? If they feel respected, they feel taken care of, they will take care of my company as their own.
Hmm. Interesting. So, you would say that you have a personal relationship with every single one of your employees?
Whoever I'm working directly with, because now I
Okay.
cannot have personal
Yeah.
relationship. I used to, and we have same employees who started with us as Subway sandwich makers in their high school, and now they are general managers of locations. And we have not, whenever we acquire a location, we never let go of the staff. We have the staff, and we just add more staff members. And even I'm a Subway franchisee. Subway tells me that my productivity is low because I have way too many employees. They want us to have less employees and have them working more, because to make profits. And I say we are okay with that, because I want a stressless atmosphere for my employees, and not having them burnt out, not having them overworked. So it's okay if I don't make too much money in my one location or two location or five locations. It's okay if we just have good, peaceful, joyful working environment over, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I don't like to rush people and stress them.
Interesting. Another interesting point that you brought up is that you've never fired an employee, like ever in the entire business.
No one can say that they were fired by me or my husband.
Interesting. That's a very interesting strategy. Normally, like in the business world, they say that you should hire very slowly and fire quickly. So
yes, we have trouble. Both of us have trouble firing people. Both of us, even if we end up knowing that the person is really wrong, that wrong person ends up having fights among themselves with the staff, and they end up eventually leaving.
Oh, okay. So some people have just left.
Yes, some people have left because
Okay.
of their own conflict, or when we have failed to mentor them, or we have failed to bring them up to the same bandwidth, then they end up leaving. But we don't say that you are fired. I've never used that word.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. So obviously we live in a modern world which has constantly changing environments. We have new trends coming out. We have things shifting in the market. We're in, positive markets, negative markets. So how do you keep up with industry trends?
I read Sam Walton's books, and my husband and Sam Walton have similarities. My husband also goes and studies different gas stations. And I, as a pageant director, study different pageants, what they are charging in fee or what they are providing to their girls. So I try to do better than them. My husband goes to Earlier, my husband and I would travel together to different locations to learn about how the other gas station owners are doing and what makes them popular or what makes them totally deserted location. Because you can tell when you go to a store that if the store is kept clean or it's well stocked, if it has enough employees, it's well lit, it's providing enough food, warm food at certain times, or they are totally out of the deli food, or they don't have fresh coffee. The basic things, or the gas pumps outside are not clean, not well lit, or the gas is too high, diesel is too high. When you study these things, you learn. Even until today, like we are about to buy a few other locations here in Bellevue. And before buying, we just go and spend some time around that area, around that location, to see how it's doing during the day, or how it's doing during the night time, or what's the attitude of the employees, or what could be improved on if we buy this location. Studying different, not the prospective business, but also the businesses around it. Like if we invest, are we going to be crushed by the competition, or can we survive and thrive?
Yeah, definitely. That's important to analyze. So obviously you have multiple responsibilities as a business owner. You got your other projects going on. So how do you balance your time and your resources while doing all these different things at once?
Oh, that's a myth. The balancing time is a myth. You cannot, because as a business owner, when they say that you can have a balanced life, no, I don't think you can. Because if your employee, not that I will go and work at the gas station cash register now, but I need to be accessible to my general managers. They take care of those locations. But whatever happens, we need to be continuously, because we are choosing that. It's not that if I choose not to have phone calls and tell my general managers that you cannot call me after 5, then maybe I can control that. But for me and my husband, that's a myth that we live balanced lives, because we choose not to live. We actively still stay involved in every decision from a place of care, not from a place of control that we need to do this. But we like to be informed about whatever is going, or whatever decisions are being made by general managers of those locations, if they are important decisions. So, but Our general managers have the authority to manage locations and manage staff. So a lot of things are delegated. My husband is better at delegating. I am still struggling with delegation because I feel like, oh, I'll just do it. I'll have to train this person to do this. But I truly need to learn the art of delegation and then checking upon whatever the results are. I need to, that's one point I'm very poor at. And to build Miss World America as a big, grand organization, I am telling myself, you need to delegate this.
Yeah. And how important has networking and building relationships been for you in your business?
Life is relationships. Rest all things are minute details. So no matter if I have a 50 million net worth or 500 million net worth, nothing matters if I don't have good relationship with people or my team, and if I'm constantly worked up and constantly anxious and stressed. So for me, always relationships come front. They take precedent over everything I do. And I make sure that our vendors, they make money working with us. I am not penny pinching. I'm not a person who, like last week, I paid our LED person, and he offered me, without me asking him, he offered me 25% discount on the entire LED bill. And I just felt that no, this is too low, because I had paid much more last year, more than double of that last year. And I just reached out to him and I said, I want to pay you more. And I am thankful that you are offering me this much discount, but I won't take this much discount. Here is a little more. And I appreciate you already being so reasonable in your prices, but I want to express my gratitude back to you. So it's important that, and most of my employees are working virtually from their homes. So I let the new moms have hybrid situations, and they inform me how many hours they have worked, and I let them do their hours, and I just pay them whenever they want to get paid. So I don't like to police my employees or vendors or have small petty fights with them. And same with my delegates, my Miss World America daughters. Now I have more than 100 daughters all over US.
Yeah.
Earlier I had one, but now, and they sometimes have situations in their lives, and if I want to honor them and maintain relationships with them, I think from the point of a mom. Sometimes I know that this is not the right picture being presented to me. So I have become expert in ignoring a lot of things and overlooking offenses. Overlooking offenses is my mental tattoo. That, okay, even though I am being lied to by some people, I just don't take that personally. I just give them the grace and benevolence, because all of us are at different stages of life and we are constantly learning. So we cannot be the finished products. We are all full of flaws. So
yeah, definitely.
That keeps me in check, that if I'm not perfect, why am I expecting her to be perfect?
Yeah, definitely. And it takes some really strong character. So congratulations on being able to do that. And it sounds like you really, really value your employees, your team, your business relationships. And I think that really goes a long way in business. It helps you advance more quickly, in almost any business setting. So that's really great to hear. And so as far as Miss World America goes, what are you most excited about this year coming up?
This year we have 60 plus delegates coming from all over US, flying to Seattle.
Yeah.
And as a national director, I get to make the rules for the whole nation. So my pageant is 50% about charitable work. So 50% scores will be given to the girl who has done most charitable work. And then 25% is interview. Yeah. And 25% is online presence. Other pageants have, they call it evening gown. And I say that that's unfair, because a girl could be coming from a very wealthy family Another girl could be a waitress who is working and cannot afford a $5,000 custom gown or $10,000 gown. So my judges are not going to judge on the quality of the gown. They are not going to judge on the quality production of the video. Even if a girl is sitting in her living room and talking about her experiences growing up in church or volunteering in school at Key Club, she would be seen from the content of her heart, not from the production of video or the animation when she steps on the stage, the gratefulness that she expresses during her interaction on the pageant week. That will be factored in rather than just, okay, she has the most beautiful gown, here you go, 10 out of 10. So I'm excited to see what all the 60 plus girls and their families are flying into Seattle, what they bring, because I have spoken to almost all girls while interviewing them, but I'm so excited to meet and hug them.
Yeah.
And meet their parents, because some parents have inspired me a lot.
Yeah. The
way they are fully invested and supporting, and some girls who have zero support from their parents and still. So many, you can see when 60 girls and about 200 people in parents and their uncles and aunts, it's like having family in every state.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure they're excited to meet you too. So as we wrap up here, one final question for you. Can you leave us just with one word of advice? If somebody's watching this and they're like, I really love what you've built with your organizations and I want to improve my business as well. What's one word of advice that you could leave them with?
Whoever you connect with, think about them too. Like, don't try to look at your own profits all the time. Like, whoever you connect with, it could be customer, provide value to customer, provide value to employee, provide value to your vendors, and give back in your community. Like in 2005, I started giving free treat cards and free ice cream coupons. I would give more than 100,000 free, no strings attached. Like, if a child is showing some improvement in their schoolwork, or some little bit improvement in their behavior, then I would tell the teacher that I don't want to just reward A students, because not everyone comes from academically oriented families, or they don't have the support at home. And if they were really badly misbehaving yesterday and they have somewhat controlled their anger, then reward that. Mm-hmm. So from 2005 to now, I give hundreds and thousands of free treat cards that the child can come and get a free ice cream at our stores or Subways without their parents needing to buy something, that you have to buy this to redeem this card.
Yeah.
So that, I hope, has had ripple effect. And because of that, I think in 2017, they gave me the highest civic honor. Secretary of State gave me NAS medallion in 2017, because from 2005, I started it. And by 2017, I think millions of students were impacted.
Yeah. Wow. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me here today. It's been very interesting to hear about your business experience. It's so broad, everything from gas stations to Subways to Miss World America. So thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for listening in. This is Better Business with Austin Zelan, and I'll see you all on the next episode.